Yeah, you're really all, as I said, very welcome to this first Be a Councillor event, which I'm really pleased we're hosting with Disability Greens today. So got some great councillors for you to hear from about their experiences of getting elected and some guidance on being a councillor. My name is Daniela Radici. I'm local elections manager for the Green Party of England and Wales. So I'm interested in getting lots of people elected, big diverse bunch of people elected next year in the 2027 elections. The 2027 elections are huge. We have elections in most of England and the whole of Wales. I think the only place there aren't local elections next year is, and there'll be people correcting me if I'm wrong, there are a few places where there aren't, but the big area where there aren't elections is London, but a lot of rural counties and some of our unitary counties, northern boroughs, Wales, as I said. So lots and lots of local elections, so we need lots and lots of candidates. So we're all here to inspire you to get involved. So I'd like to introduce our speakers. We've got Charlie Thompson, who is a newly elected councillor in Barnet. Do you want to give us a wave, Charlie? Very welcome. We've got Stuart Allen, who's a councillor in Southend. Welcome, Stuart. And we've got Stephen Robb, who's a councillor, newly elected parish councillor in Downham Market. So a variety of different authorities.
I'm actually not all that new.
Sorry?
I'm actually not all that new. I did a bit of it.
Sorry.
Then 8 months ago, I basically said, I basically left 8 months ago. Then I came back via co-option, which is a whole path.
Great, thank you.
Weird career path.
Yes. And I just also like to introduce to you Tricia from Disability Greens, who's been working on this to set this up with me. And she's also going to be helping facilitate getting questions asked in the second bit of the meeting. So Tricia, can you give us a wave? I can't see you myself. Where are you, Tricia? Oh, maybe she's dropped out.
I am here.
You're here. How weird. Yes. Normally it shows you when you're giving a wave. Anyway, that hasn't happened to my screen today. So first of all, I'm going to ask each of our councillors to answer a question. And I'm going to give them 3 minutes because we really want to hear from all of them. And we've got lots of, I know you're all really desperate to ask your questions. So the first question for you, Charlie, is what inspired you to become a Green councillor?
Thanks, Daniela, and thanks everybody for coming out on a really hot day. I'm personally really struggling with the heat today, so I may have to dip out of the call early, but it's great to see so many people. So my journey to becoming a councillor has been quite a long one, actually. I've been a campaigner for many years, particularly around disability rights and adult social care. And I've done a lot of campaigning locally around cuts in local authority services, anti-austerity, trying to support workers locally with union actions. And I've attended many council meetings as part of that, but not as a councillor, and found it over the years more and more frustrating being in the council chamber in the public gallery and seeing the absolute mess of the existing council. And funnily enough, I always said I'll never be one of them. I'll never, cross that line. But here we are. No, in the end, I just felt really strongly that rather than sitting on the outside and complaining about how bad things were, I thought we need people in there who can actually make a change and do things differently, and hold power to account, and challenge the status quo. So that's what inspired me to make that step. And obviously the Green Party, I could talk about why I joined the Green Party, but that's not why I'm here. But yeah, I'm really pleased and proud to be a Green councillor representing my community.
Wonderful, thank you. Over to you, Stephen. What inspired you to become a Green councillor?
Okay, so by co-option, it was essentially the seat was vacant. Okay, but however, I basically was told whenever I was 6, I would never speak publicly. I mean, surprises all of you, doesn't it? Considering now, how many people on Justice Call alone? 158. So how many?
Great,
But
thank you.
also, yeah, also to a certain extent, I wanted to prove people wrong and ended up putting my name forward and almost becoming a councillor by accident.
That sounds great. So over to you, Stuart. What inspired you to become a Green councillor?
Thank you. Well, a number of things really. I've always been very into the environment, and I just wanted to get involved in helping getting our first Green elected. I actually work in a zero waste shop. Before that, I used to be to teach people about zero waste living. I still have an account that's open called the Jar Keeper. I used to like share tips how to live like low waste lifestyle and work in the zero waste shop. How I know it makes it easier for me, but I've always been passionate about making a difference. And so when we went to help our first Green councillor get elected, I thought I was going around, and then the agent noticed how everybody recognised me or knew who I was, because I'm quite active within the community of groups and things like that. So, and then they all of a sudden everyone around the table put me forward. I wasn't expected to. I actually said no at the beginning. I was like, no, not a chance, no way. And I thought, you know what, if I can make a difference, I'll give it a go. And then I got elected with the largest vote in the city, still holding that record. Yeah, I'm just want to make a difference here and there. And it's just those little things. And Richard always says that having a green in the room makes a difference. And everyone tries to outgreen you. So even if they do outgreen you on things, it's only because you're there adding that pressure. And I think that's why it's really important to have green councillors in there. But yeah, it's not been easy. Now I'm in my 3rd year, and again, group spokesperson. So again, there's added pressure of that. But yeah, it's been an experience, may I say. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And another question to you, Charlie, to start with. What is it like being a councillor?
3 minutes.
We can have a bit longer if you want.
There's so much I could say. Well, it's been very recent, obviously just elected in May, and I'm really trying to get my head around everything. I didn't really mention much about, the experience of being disabled and taking part in the campaign, and obviously kind of getting to grips with councillor duties as someone who is disabled and who has to manage my health and my energy levels. I would say there is a lot of work as a councillor, and quite frankly, I don't know how people hold down full-time jobs and are councillors and do a good job, because I'm struggling and I don't have a full-time job. So yeah, I think so far I'm finding it quite intense but really enjoyable, and it's really great to be that voice in the room, as Stuart was saying, and holding power to account. I'm actually the single Green on a council that is split 31-31 to the Tories and Labour, so I essentially hold the balance of power. So that puts me in quite a unique position, and yeah, so I've got a lot to think about strategically and how that's going to work, but really kind of getting to represent the community and help residents is something that I'm really enjoying, and I think if you're that kind of person that wants to help problem solve, that cares, that is willing to ask questions, then this is a really, really good role for you. And as a disabled person, I think having disabled voices in councils is absolutely crucial, because a lot of the systems that we're living within are not designed for disabled people, and it's harder for us to kind of overcome some of those barriers in order to have parity with our non-disabled peers. So yeah, I think it's really important that we have a voice in the room to represent our disabled friends and our non-disabled community as well.
Yeah. Brilliant, thanks Charlie. Yeah, it's so important because so many council services need to be run by people, influenced by people who actually have a lived understanding of what it's like to have a disability. I think really important. Stephen, over to you.
So
what's it like?
I would say it's busy, but it's also very rewarding. You end up in a situation where it's very busy, but also very rewarding. I am the youngest person there by many years. I am 20, and you do feel sometimes like you are the only voice in a chamber that's really old, really doesn't represent the town at all. Let's be honest here. It represents this, as I said to one of you two in the green room, it represents this one family who are basically who have been there for 40 years.
Yeah, it sounds like an amazing situation. Do you want to say a little bit more about that? Because you said that to us earlier, Stephen, and I think before we got into the main room about the situation in your parish council.
Yeah, so we've got a situation where councillors are literally uncontested to start with. That literally means there is no election, and many of them have been doing it for 40 years, and they're all members of the same family. And of course, that's very representative, isn't it? Of course, there's literally one family.
Wow,
down in Market.
Amazing. Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's an amazing story, not of public service, but of seats being passed down like family heirlooms.
It's a kind of feudal system almost, back to the Middle Ages. But I'm glad you got.
So. It's quite.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm there, because I've even had it where if I've wanted to say things against them, I've been told exactly, I will meet you outside. I think that will shock a lot of people here, won't it?
Wow. Yeah. So that's good. I can see Kate, you've got a question. Would you like to come in with that? I was going to start questions just after Stuart's spoken, but if you've got something urgent, please tell us.
No, I wanted to ask a question about casework, so I'll ask it later.
Great, thank you. Yes.
I do a amount of it. I get people emailing in. It's not frequent because, again, they hide behind GDPR. They say everything has to go through the clerk, which the clerk seems to think she's a politician.
Interesting challenge. Yeah, Stuart. So what's it like being councillor in Southend?
Thank you. Yeah, echo Charlie's comments how it's difficult. I am actually working 5 days this week as well as being a councillor. But I'll do emails before and after work. This weekend I get last weekend just I did give away to councillors. So you have to give the time. You have to realise that you are going to have to give time to it. And I don't always do 5 days. This is just a one-off. I normally do like 3 to 4. But it can be tough, especially with a disability. But it's, again, like Steve said, it's very rewarding, helping people. I find because I live and work smack bang in the middle of my ward and the community, I'm so easy to find. So if people want something help, they know how to find me. So I'm not shy of casework whatsoever. So I do get 50 plus emails a day, which I have to sift through. Sometimes I try and work through them to see how kind of like what things are like urgent. But yeah, it's rewarding. But you just have to make time for yourself as well and your family, because I made the mistake on Sunday. Family are out in the back garden and I'm in here doing my emails, but I just want to make sure I keep it up, because the thing is, you want to make sure you're not getting overwhelmed. Because if they do pile up, I find that I get overwhelmed. So the best thing for me and my mind is just to get them done. But it's good holding administration to account, getting things done.
Yep.
I originally was on a people scrutiny, where I've managed to bring up questions again, which now I'm on health scrutiny because EHCP are in, and oh, forgot the name. Another health group. I forgot the name for the moment. But holding them to account on questions that I'd asked before, and they've actioned those sort of things. So when you've done things like that and got motions through, it's so rewarding. But yeah, I think it's just a whirlwind, really. I still can't believe I'm in a third year. It's just crazy. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Stuart. So let's go over to questions. And so we've had our. Do you want to elaborate on your question about casework, or should we just to start us off with?
Yeah, I think my question was, you know, how does one go? How would one go about prioritizing casework, really? And you know, because I would find that naturally, you know, administration and casework is probably my weak point. You know, I can speak publicly until the cows come home.
One way I tend to do it is I tend to look at things that, does this belong to another authority? So if it does, then I will most of the time just send it over to the correct people. Sometimes I often say, especially at my level, you are a citizens advice bureau more than and a councillor, but obviously, yeah, people see councillor and they think you deal with, you know, everything and anything.
Right, thank you. And Charlie, do you want to add something to that?
You can go first, Charlie, if you like.
Yeah, I was going to say, thanks, Kate, for the question. I think there's different ways of doing it. I think the thing with being a councillor is you have to find the way that's going to work for you. I also think, you know, different councils have different ways of you know, putting in an inquiry. We have a members inquiry system, which is a digitalized system where you submit your casework to officers, and you know, even getting my head around that at the beginning was quite difficult. It doesn't work very well. It's not very efficient. So those types of things you have to think about. But the way I handle my casework, I probably get a similar amount of emails to Stuart, a lot of emails every day, and trying to work through what's the stuff that's internal, because you do get some internal council emails coming through, and what is the stuff that really needs to be dealt with urgently. And I think you can just make that judgment yourself, based on the information you're given, and also trying to find connections between casework. For example, if you find that residents are all flagging the same issue, then you can kind of potentially find a way of handling that in one go, and then responding to those residents rather than doing each one separately. So yeah, I think there's different ways of doing it, and it's very personal how it's going to work for you. I definitely have some kind of neurodiversity, potentially ADHD. I'm undiagnosed, but I do find that quite difficult, kind of managing that flow, and as Stuart said, making sure that I have time off. I'm working all hours at the moment, so I haven't quite achieved that healthy balance yet, but I'm hoping to get there.
Thank you, Charlie. That's really, really helpful. Mason, your question.
Hello, thank you. It's a sort of two-part question, really. First of all, what sort of, for you guys, support have you found from the actual party itself while you're serving with a disability? And my particular disability is likely to manifest itself during council meetings and things like that. It's the only real thing I'd have to worry about if I was elected. How would you go about sort of raising it with the public servants in the council that you might have to leave stuff sometimes? So yeah, those are pretty much what I'm interested in.
Great, thank you. And I would just actually say something I haven't said yet, a bit about support from the party, is that me and Trish are working together, and I'm producing a new councillor selection guidance for local parties, and that includes an important phrase that they must ask candidates what support they need and then come up with a support plan to help them get elected. So that is a key new thing we're putting in place this year.
Thank you.
So that's that might preface some of your remarks, but I'd still like you to Charlie answer to go to the question, and then Tricia.
Yeah, thanks. Is it Mason? Thank you for your question. This is definitely something that you really need to explain, if you feel comfortable doing so, quite quickly. I had an initial meeting with the director of our council and notified them really quickly. I'm disabled, these are my issues, and spoke with the governance team, who also have issued me with so I have to do this DSE survey, which essentially where I can explain what my needs are, what things need to be adapted, and actually they've been really good, and they're going to provide me with a chair for home that suits me, and they've made some adaptations for council meetings. So I would say, if you can and you feel comfortable, try and be open and honest early on with the council officers, and they will have in place systems to kind of try and help support you. In terms of my local party, I mean, people have been really supportive, and we're trying to put together a bit of a team around me, because I'm the first elected Green in Barnet ever. This is kind of unprecedented for us in Barnet, and we know how important it's going to be for me to have support. So we're pulling together different people that want to focus on different areas and support with things like casework and scrutiny. So
Thank you, Tricia. Thank you. Tricia, do you want to come in quickly on the support side of it?
Yeah, I will do. Obviously, one of the things I've been doing as the councillor coordinator for Disabled Greens is actually speaking to quite a lot of candidates and councillors about their experiences. And obviously, same with anything, you've got some councils, some local branches that are very good, and others maybe not so good. Hopefully, the support plan will help with the candidate side of things, but on the council, it is really, really important that reasonable adjustments are made. So the first thing they should be doing with you is a risk assessment as soon as you're elected, to make sure that, they are really aware of what the needs are. I mean, our chamber in Southend-on-Sea is not wheelchair accessible, for example, and they would have to do something about it, because you could not stick a councillor at the side and exclude them from the rest of the proceedings. So so as soon as election, when you get signed in, that conversation with the chief exec is, can we have my risk assessment, please, and make sure that all those reasonable adjustments are made, and they have to by law. But my role, as I say, is councillor coordinator. If they're not doing it, I'm your point of contact to try and get those things moving.
Great, thanks, Tricia. So we'll go to Stuart. We've got a lot of questions. I might not ask all of you, our panel, all the questions, because I want to make sure we get through all the questions. That's my priority. But Stuart, do you want to come in on that?
Thank you. Yeah, again, I'd like to echo Charlie again, making sure you let people know, because I not made a mistake, but I worried I'd be penalised for my epilepsy. I was never asked about any health issues when I started. Like Tricia mentioned, I was never asked at all. So it is important you let them know. So I have started telling committee section that of my health issues, or if I'm feeling unwell before a meeting, which is quite important. And as far as the party go, Tricia is one of them, and Kay Mitchell is one of our councillors. They're kind of people I kind of lean on quite a lot when I'm feeling vulnerable. Like my adopted mums in the Green Party. So but they're always there when I need them. So you kind of figure out who those people are that are there to support you. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Let's go to this. Jennifer, you've been waiting patiently. Would you like to ask your question?
Hi. I was just wondering, I imagine it's different council to council on the size of the district or whatever, but sorry. Roughly, is there an approximate guide on how many hours? Is it like some weeks you'll get 10 hours, some weeks there'll be 30 hours? Is it completely all over the place? Is there any average at all?
Do you want to take that? Oh, sorry, Stephen, do you want to take that one first, and then we'll go to...
So at our level, I want to say this much. There are some weeks where we'll be having extraordinary meetings plus committees, and then sometimes training as well. Give an example. Yesterday I had an all-day event in Norwich, about 30 miles away from here. Basically, we were essentially, what we were doing was we were learning how to chair a meeting, and that was all day. Obviously, in some cases we can be going months, we can be going weeks without decisions. So we have a meeting every month plus committees usually. Committees, find out whatever your local council's committee structure is.
Thank you. Charlie, do you want to add anything to
that? I'm really sorry, I forgot the question.
Oh, it was about how much time does it?
Yes, sorry.
Really...
I was getting distracted with other questions in the chat.
There are, I know it is distracting.
There's some really good ones in here. Yeah. So no, I would say there isn't a set amount of hours. And there's definitely councillors who do a lot of work and councillors who do very little work. And I think that's one of the things that you essentially will have to set yourself when you become a councillor. Decide how many hours are you going to give, and how much flexibility is in that, and obviously making allowances for your, being disabled and how that's going to impact you. But no, there's no set amount of hours at all.
Thank you. And again, Trisha's got a hand up, and then I think we'll take one more from verbal question, then we'll go to the chat, and then we'll go back to the verbal to make sure everyone's got a chance. But Trisha, do you
I was going to just run through the answers to the chat questions quickly, if that's okay. Because I think some of them have already been answered, so thanks for letting me know on that. So one of the easy ones: how to put my name down to be a councillor in your local branch or ward. Go to have a chat with your branch. There's a selection process. There should be an announcement locally about when they're looking for candidates. But again, my email will be shared, so if you're struggling, drop me an email and I will support you on that. The other question was, is it possible to do a full-time job? Yes, it is. A lot of councillors do a full-time job, but it does mean you've really got to be strict with yourself and pace yourself, because as Stuart has said, and Charlie, it can be quite overwhelming. So if you're quite strict with prioritising, absolutely. About dealing with mental health issues, I think Stuart spoke about that. Let's have some trusted people around you, and be strict. Say I'm going to do this many hours a week and stick to it. I know it's not easy, but actually that's how a lot of councillors function really, really well. Some just don't bother to answer their emails at all, but that won't be a green councillor, so we're all right. And the last question, which I think is really important, is about benefits. So if you are on universal credit, anything that you get in terms of an allowance will be deducted from your universal credit. Other benefits like non-means tested benefits like PIP won't be affected at all. But universal credit, I was a councillor on universal credit, so anything I got in my allowance was deducted, so it meant I actually paid to be a councillor. So make sure you get the right advice. I think, do speak to a benefits advisor, but it won't affect, because you've got a disability and you're volunteering on a council, even though you get a bait, it's not going to go against you, actually go for you, because you are doing something constructive. So I hope that helps. But again, we will share. I can't chat back. I have no facility to answer you on the chat, but we will send my details through to you. Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much, Trisha. Let's go to Sam's question. Sam, lovely.
Hello, thank you very much. One of my questions was going to be about benefits, so thank you, Trisha, for covering that already. My main question really was about maybe less about actually specific councillor work and casework, but about canvassing. because that to me at the moment seems like the biggest hurdle. I can kind of work out how I might be able to manage or put support plans in place for a lot of aspects of potentially becoming a counsellor, but it's the physical canvassing that I'm not sure. I mean, it wouldn't really be possible for me to do at all. Obviously, on a personal level, that's not something I feel particularly comfortable with. If my local branch did want me to stand and kind of canvass in the area, I would find that quite challenging to kind of have people canvassing on my behalf. So yeah, I just wondered if people had any experiences on that. That'd be great to know. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Charlie, do you have experience?
Yeah, hi Sam. I can really relate to this, and this was an issue that I felt throughout the campaign. Actually, we had a really good team here in Barnet. Lots of people out canvassing and leafleting, but I did feel a lot of pressure, and I think some of that is to do with the fact that the Target to Win strategy is so focused on leafleting and door knocking, and that does feel a bit inaccessible if you've got a disability that impacts your energy levels or your mobility. So the way that I worked it was that I set very clear boundaries and said I'm only able to do X number of canvassing sessions. In the end, I ended up doing mainly the action days, and I would go out. I actually was able to drive and meet canvassers on location, and then do a little bit of door knocking and then rest for a bit. And so there was ways around it. The other thing that I found helpful, and it was actually Zoe Garbett who gave me this advice. She said, if you're canvassing and you're struggling with that, do the board running, and then other people are kind of running around all over the place, but you're board running. But as a candidate, the people who are knocking on the doors can then call you over to speak to a resident if that works better for you. If you can't go out at all, Sam, then I think there has to be other ways that that your local party can create a situation where residents can connect with you. And there are other ways of doing that. You can run stalls where you could just sit and people can come and see you. You could do an online surgery where you meet with local residents. You've got the loads of opportunity through all the leafleting to get your picture out there and to speak through those means. I do think we need to, as a party, get better at this. And I know that there's a lot of work happening in disabled greens around this type of thing, but yeah, it should not be a barrier to disabled people being councillors. That's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, thanks
Thank you, Charlie. That's really helpful.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I do recognise that Target to Win does stress a lot of leaflet delivery and door knocking, but as you say, there are ways to support people who can't do that level of physical activity to still become councillors and still get elected. And that's kind of what we're all about, is trying to get many different people into power who can't normally access power. So that's why this work we're all doing is really important. Thank you. Right, let's go to, who's got that hand up? Sorry, my mouse. Come on, mouse. Oh, yes, Rob, sorry.
I think I will
That was
raise.
Campbell, Rob, Stuart, do you want to come up? Yeah.
Okay, I think I will raise is within town and parish councils, you might not even have to canvass. So you could just possibly do what I did and apply through co-option. Then you've literally just are interviewed by the existing members and come on board that way. Then you'll just need 2 people to propose it, and seconder, I think, is the thing. Can't remember from when I did it.
Great, thank you. And Stuart.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. As someone who I'm still physically active and fit, but my Caesar diary would tell you different when it came to campaigning. Added pressure on top of being a councillor working. So like I said, I still have a lot of work to do on getting people to come out and help and that kind of thing, instead of it all relying on the councillors or candidates as well. It's just growing us as a group, just to make it easier, because my seizure diary will tell you different. Like that's just 1 month of seizures through May, so it's kind of like you have to really like look after yourself. Thank you.
Totally. Thank you. We go to Rachel's question.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I thought thank you for a really interesting presentation. Like, I'm sorry if this question isn't appropriate, but I wondered, I'm running for a committee role in the Green Party, and I wondered like how similar it is to being a councillor, whether it's the same kind of like, whether I need to bear the same kind of things in mind that you've mentioned in this talk.
Yeah. I would say yes, it's probably a good idea if you can to share your needs, your support needs with people so they can help. Yeah. Charlie, do you want to, or Stuart, coming on those?
Yeah. Is this a committee within your local party?
It's like Jewish Greens committee, so it'd be like it would be a national.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would say exactly the same thing. Just let them know if you need any reasonable adjustments, if you're likely to need, adaptations during meetings or extra time to process information before a meeting, those types of things. I would just reach out, and if you've got any issues with that, just reach out to Disabled Greens, and I know that we're working on a bit of guidance around those types of things, so that might be helpful for you.
It's probably basically like mental health related, but like rather than any like sort of accessibility issues. But I just wondered if it was if a lot of it was the same kind of lesson, really.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Trisha, are there any more questions in the chat you'd like to feed in to our panel?
Yeah, I just want to really reinforce, because there's been a few questions. So we are going to provide you with links to Disabled Greens, to all the sort of hopefully helpful organisations that will help you through the process. I think talking about canvassing, we know we need to be creative in terms of canvassing. Some people have found the new technology really helpful, where their colleagues can go around and get data while we do something a bit more creative and a bit more static. But unfortunately, at this point, it's not everywhere. So the push to get that out across the country is really important, because technology can be our friend. The Disabled Greens are a really great supportive community. We've got chats for everything. I personally, I can't get on with Discord, but some people prefer it. It's about whatever suits you. And to get onto a committee, all you've really got to show is that you are really interested and you've got the skills to do that particular role. That's really, really important. I'm just trying to see if I've missed anything else. Sorry, I'm
okay.
There's quite a few communities. So I hope that once the support plan is in place, it needs to be spread out across the country. But if we know about it, everybody here is going to know about it. It's something you can ask for, which I think will be really helpful, and it'll get it going. Somebody else asked about support roles. It's an interesting one, because I've actually offered to support one of our councillors formally, but it's quite a process to go through in terms of GDPR and all those sorts of things. But there is a possibility that you could support a councillor, but obviously you can support them by taking a role within the branch, if that's helpful. So I do think, but we have got lots and lots of contact information for you, where you can go and get some support.
Brilliant, thank you. Thanks, Trisha. There was before I come to you, Kate, there's one question in the Q&A that I've picked up that's an interesting one for our panel, which is, how did you end up in the Green Party? Were you a member of another party prior to joining the Greens? And if so, what was the final straw before you joined the Greens? Stephen, do you like to answer that one?
I was an independent, but I was around my local party, but not actually a member. Then I only formalised my membership in March of this year after I checked. Would you believe this Charities Commission CC9 rules? Because we are technically, as councillors, town and parish, we can be ex officio members of a charity sometimes. Turns out they didn't apply to me.
Right, thank you. And Stuart.
Thank you. Believe it or not, I was never actually into politics at all. Not at all. Couldn't give two hoots about it. I didn't understand it. I had no idea. And then when I started realising it's the only way to make a difference, and what appealed to me about the Green Party is obviously all my things to do with the environment that I love, and animal welfare and those kind of things. And I don't know, something just clicked, and I like the fact that the Greens don't have a whip as well, because there's no way you're going to tell me what to do. If I believe something here, I'll vote for it here. I'll vote for what's right. You'll have Labour people on one side going, oh, you voted with the Conservatives on that. And then you'll have the Tories go, oh, you voted with Labour on that, blah, blah, you're in their pocket. No, I'm not. I'm voting for what's right. And with being a Green, I have the freedom to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Charlie?
Yep. I would say that as well.
It's so interesting that we're all coming from different places. I was a member of the Labour Party up until, I can't remember when I finally left. Yeah, no, it was when Starmer became the leader, and when Starmer won the election, I think, and started doing terrible things. I knew he was going to be terrible, but I became politically homeless for a while, actually, in terms of a party, but I was still doing a lot of work in the community. And then I'd always respected and liked the Greens, but had, like many people, I think, thought, I'm not sure whether Greens can win, certainly not where I live. But then I just decided, I've got to get back involved with this, because this is absolutely a disaster what's happening with the Labour government. And we have a Labour council now in Barnet, had one at the time, and I just really wanted to challenge that. And the Greens, I think it was at the time, Carla and Adrian were the leaders, and I was really impressed with Carla particularly, also with Zach as the deputy. So yeah, that's what made me join the Greens and get active with my local party. Yeah, I think that's enough about me.
Thank you. Stuart, do you want to come in? We've got another question from Simon. He hasn't asked a question yet, so go on, Simon.
Yeah, it was that, yeah, like Charlie and it was Natalie Bennett came down for an action day for our first councillor, and I was just blown away. And yeah, that was one of the main reasons as well. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, thanks for waiting.
Natalie's incredible. Legend.
Yeah. Thanks for waiting. Simon hasn't asked a question yet, so if you want to come on, Simon.
It's not really. I think my question was already answered. It's more to do with like being a civil servant, and are there any restrictions? But someone did mention if you are, I think, like a senior civil servant, then obviously there will be like a clash of interest. But I think at middle grade should be okay. But yeah, I probably could ask someone in HR regarding it. But just general point on the why kind of became a generational Labour voter, basically. And yeah, I've always been Labour. It's only recently that I've kind of made the transition, because it didn't speak to me anymore. I mean, it really didn't. I just thought, what am I looking at? And I couldn't justify, being part of the. It was quite difficult for me to leave, just to make that, just to go online and say, oh, no, I want to withdraw my membership, and I found it difficult to do. But yeah, but then they kept emailing me about why am I leaving, and etc. But now I feel good about it. Yeah, I mean, I had the same issue that other people have done. Can Greens actually make a difference? But I realized actually now there's a lot more support. It's just not publicized really, but you can see it now. I can see it in my community as well. There's a lot more. So I'm in Dagenham. So I think we had like 2 or 3 like people standing for Green, but now we've got almost filled. So that's really good and positive. I don't think we're a minority anymore. I can see Greens out there everywhere now.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely we are a growing force and a real important force in British politics who are making a massive difference to the future of this country. Kate, you want to come in? We're going to stop soon, so not to limit all questions.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a couple of quick points. So
Sure.
I'm up for election as ETO in February, on Friday. So I see my role as
Sorry, you're just dropped out there.
got one. Can you hear me?
No, sorry, you just dropped out after you said ETO. We can now.
Right, I'm up for election on Friday, and I see part of my role is supporting our councillors, very much so. So some of the advice has actually been really useful. The point I wanted to make is about target to win, because I see that there are practical problems with it. And I put this in the chat because I think that it's something that EDO should be aware of, is that some people have issues with target to win. I wondered what the National Party was doing about this, because I know there's been a lot of discussion about this within the Disabled Greens and issues surrounding it. Because I know that the old strategy was that if you couldn't campaign, you couldn't necessarily be a target candidate.
Yeah, as I said, that is changing now because we have this advice in the councillor selection guidance to say that you need to talk to candidates about the support needs, and that shouldn't be a barrier to them. So things are changing. I mean, we still need to knock on doors and deliver leaflets, but it doesn't have to be the candidate doing that. There can be very creative ways around that, as Charlie's mentioned, as Trisha's mentioned, that we're changing things. So thank you for that point. Now, we haven't got very much longer. I'm not sure more people putting their hands up. Trisha, you're next. You're waving.
Actually, we were supposed to close the questions at past, so I do think we're going to have to do that because we've got some information to front load. But I just wanted to say to Sebastian very quickly, having a stammer should not stop you and will not stop you. If you want to do it, there's always a way. And luckily with the councillor, very few people have access to finishing your sentences because you have that right of reply at that time. So please don't worry about it and please go for it. Yeah, I think that was the outstanding question I've got here, but you will get my email. If there are outstanding questions you have, please do contact me. Apologies that we can't get to everyone today, but we do need to move on to the presentation, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Maybe Trish, you could put your email address in the chat now so people can
I'm afraid I can't. You won't let me type in the chat.
Right, I will do that.
I will. Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
I'll do that as a priority.
I'm gonna have to drop off the call now, I'm afraid.
Thanks, Charlie.
But thank you so much,
Charlie. We are so grateful for you staying for the whole 50 minutes despite melting. So
that's okay. Thank you.
So
thanks
much,
everybody,
Charlie.
and go for it. That's my advice. Go for it.
Yeah,
Bye.
go for it. Right, I'll quickly share some slides, and we will be sending out a recording of this put it on our trading link tree. So, and we'll send you a link to the recording so you will be able to watch it. So let me share my slides. There's my share gone.
Can you put them in an email because I can't see the slides?
Yes, I will try to do that. Yes, it's tricky to email out, but I should be able to do that.
Sorry, Daniela.
No, yes.
Can you put the I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to see the slides because my screen reader won't access them.
Okay. Well, I can.
Yeah, you should have my email address.
Yes, yeah. I'll have your email address to send them out. Thank you. So, let's see. Is this working? Can you see them? Trisha, could you shout if you can see them?
Yeah, all visible.
Great.
Lovely.
Thank you. Thank you. Great. So some practicalities, just a quick run through of the different kinds of council that there are. We have metropolitan councils, which were set up in 1974, and they cover large urban areas. So, for example, Bradford, Sheffield, Trafford. they tend to be in the north of England and the West Midlands, and some in the East Midlands. Unitary authorities are a more recent type of council, and they can cover a whole county, such as Somerset and Shropshire, for example, are unitary authorities. A large town, so it can be Torbay is one, or a city, and then Wales also has unitary councils as well. And then there are the London boroughs, as you know, etc., which had their elections this year. There are also two-tier authorities where you have county councils and district councils. So, for example, Hampshire, Kent, Gloucestershire, Essex. The district councils, which had different responsibilities and are responsible for things like refuse collection, environmental health and leisure. And the county councils were responsible for things like adult social care, education and highways. However, the Labour government is in the process of abolishing these two-tier councils and turning them all into unitaries. We're slap bang in the middle of that process at the moment. We are waiting to hear what the new unitaries are going to look like, and we're expecting to have elections to all the unitaries where there are currently counties and districts in 2027. But we will be campaigning in them all because we have a lot of district councillors. 500 Greens are district councillors, so it's really important that we keep our representation in all those county and district areas. So there are, as you know, town and parish council as well. Only 30% of people live in an area with one. They don't have as much power or money, but they do have precepts. They can charge their own personal local rates and taxes. There's a lot of chance for innovation in a parish council and a town council. There are Greens, for example, in Glastonbury, which is a town council who got about 24 million for their town from one of the Tory government's funds. So you can do a lot in towns and parishes. There's a picture of all the different parish councils and types of council across England, not including Wales. So it's a bit on the technical eligibility side. You have to be 18 years old. You have to be a British or citizen of the Commonwealth, and you may be eligible as a citizen of the European Union, but that's got quite complex recently. You must be either registered to vote, have lived, work or own property in the council areas for at least 12 months before the election. And by the council areas, I don't mean the ward, I mean the whole authority area. So there's no restriction on living somewhere or working somewhere and standing to represent a ward in another bit of the same local authority. You are not eligible if you work for the council, but you can if you work for a different council. So quite a lot of teachers aren't eligible to stand because they're actually employed by the local authorities. If you're bankrupt, if you've been sentenced to prison for 3 months or more, including suspended sentences during the 5 years before the election day, and convicted of a corrupt or illegal practice by an election court. So been doing something dodgy with elections. Do you need any qualifications? Absolutely not. Everyone has useful life skills and life experiences which will help. And councils also give a lot of training to their councillors. Can you also have a job? Yes, this came up in the chat. Most people will need an additional income to be a councillor. Many councils have part or full-time jobs, and many but not all council meetings are in the evenings. When I was a councillor, there were some committees that gave a bit of flexibility, and the committee itself could choose when to have their regular meetings at the discretion of the members of that committee. Your employer is required to provide reasonable time off to perform councillor duties, but it's worth checking in advance before you stand that they will do that. You get paid? Yes, you will get paid. In Wales, the basic allowance is 17,600. And in England, the amount varies hugely from around 5,000 for the smallest district councils to 19,000 for a large unitary authority. They are taxable and will count towards income for benefits. And benefits, as Tricia said, will be impacted by allowances. If you are appointed, you become a chair of a committee or some role in a cabinet, then there's more money available because it's more of a full-time job. The time commitment, there's a picture of a piece of string because it's as long as a piece of string. There is always something more to do if you're a councillor, so you need to set good boundaries. Some group set expectations of around 4 to 12 hours a week. But yes, it is really important to set boundaries if you're a counsellor, because there are so many exciting and interesting things to get involved in. The factors to take into account that you will need to do: casework, council meetings. There are additional meetings, there are outside bodies you can sit on. There are briefings from officers about various issues in your council. You'll have group meetings with other members of your Green group if you have other Green councillors. And then there'll be meetings in your community. And then, as we mentioned, organising, supporting newsletter delivering or door knocking, even if you can't do it yourself, but helping your fellow Green Party members or making sure that's getting done in your ward. How do you win an election? Well, we have a team of experts, which is my team, the field team, to offer training and advice. It might not be your ward is the best place to get elected, so speak to your local party or field organiser for advice on winning elections. And support available as a candidate. Your local Green Party should have an EDI officer, safeguarding officer, agreed candidate support plan. We offer online elections training. We have the elections handbook, the members website, which is due to be published in a new and improved version very soon. And of course, Trish and the Disabled Green group. And then the Association of Green Councillors, which everyone is welcome to join, whether you're a councillor or not, because they provide training, advice and guidance for people who want to be councillors. They provide communities for sharing ideas and online and in-person events. And they actually have a whole support group for town and parish councillors as well. Once you're elected, your other Green councillors will support you, providing advice and guidance with casework. Your council, and as has been said, they can they will provide support, and they have obligation to support you to make sure you can access and do your role as a councillor, and they need to facilitate that. And as I said, the Association of Green Councillors are also there when you're elected. And these are the useful websites. The Disabled Greens website, Local Government Association has support information for disabled councillors and candidates. Then there's a few others like 50/50 Parliament, Disability Rights, Disability Policy Centre, and Elect Her. So which is a site for women. So plenty of websites out there. So have we got Stuart still here? Would you like to say one last thing before we all go? I think you may have
Sorry,
gone.
there we go. Sorry, here
Yes,
I am.
sorry, yeah.
I don't know really. It's just that you should never let a disability hold you back. You all can make a difference in ways, and again, it's about like how long is a piece of string. You can only do what you can do. And if you've been on the council, makes other councillors try to outgreen you, as I said earlier, will make a difference. I would suggest making time for yourself. My time management is okay, but it could be better. But I always want to give 100%, and I've always been one of those people I have to give 100%. But I keep getting told off by my group for doing too much. But that's who I am. But I would, yeah, just go for it. If you think you can do it, do it. Has anyone got questions on that, or should I just leave it like that? I don't know what else to say.
Leave it
really.
like that. That's brilliant. Thank you. And Stephen, do you want to have one last thought about being a councillor?
I would say enjoy it. That's what I would say. But also be aware it is a lot of work, but also it's not. Also enjoy it. That's something I will say. I'm doing it while at college, actually. So I'm at college and I'm also a councillor. And that's what I will say is enjoy it, but also it's a lot of work on me.
Oh, sorry, can I do you mind if I just add?
Yeah.
Literally. So again, enjoy it, but for your own mental health, I would start suggesting I keep telling myself I need to do it. Sometimes you get queries which can be quite aggressive or rude towards you, but you'll find out most of the time you get positive. If I did a tally of all the positive, it would so overweigh the negatives. So I'm going to do that today, and that's a promise to all of you. I'm going to start it now, every time I get a positive comment from a resident, I'm going to do a tally and I get a negative, but it will. And if you ever invite me for a meeting again, I'll show you it. I promise.
What I often say, what I often think whenever I get negative queries through is I often think they're not being negative towards me, especially in my council where they're all members of the same family. They're actually being negative to an extent to how things are being ran.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
half time it's even my talking points in there.
Well, that sounds like you're being a very effective councillor, Stephen. So that sounds brilliant. And thank you all so much for being here. I look forward to meeting you all on the campaign trail and seeing you all as councillors in the near future. If not 2027, 28 or beyond. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Huge thank you to Stephen and Stuart for taking part.
Thank you very much. Green councillors are always the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. Have a lovely, cool evening. Good night.
Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.